I'm trying to like put my brain back into like Watkins Glen mode, and because that's
Seems
what
like
we're
20 years ago.
supposed to talk about, and it's like it's all gone. It's all been wiped.
Seems like
It's like
We'll
20
just
years
jog
ago.
each other.
yeah, it's Wednesday, but it's like yeah, that's what I was hoping. I was just like trusting that like once we get back together that
Classic move of trusting that Rory will remember something.
I just feel like it's not even trusting that you specific. It's just like it's the trust that between the three of us,
We remember something.
like together collectively,
Yeah.
like we can each contribute one brain cell and
Maddie
try and complete a thought.
Maddie will tell you that our lawn care budget has been slashed for the year, and there's literally plants and grass that are as tall as my shoulders in the backyard now.
Well, I mean, you have a fucking gigantic ass backyard. That's basically a meadow anyway. So I mean, it's
Yeah.
you
It's
kind of
covered right up to
you
the
kind of
house
have the
now.
choice. You kind of have the choice of like, do we have a yard or do we just like have a house in the middle of a meadow?
Yeah, I'm gonna have
And
to
I-
mow some of this. It's getting out of control.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
Like-
you can borrow my sweet ass what's it called?
your ego,
Is it
Ego
called
death?
an ego?
I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's right. Anyway,
When it dies, when it has a failure, you can refer to it as
Yeah.
ego death.
ego death. I
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
It's very good.
But yeah, should we talk about? Well, let's introduce the pod. Pod is tired.
Oh, yeah.
God.
Tired. The tired podcast. The podcast.
It's about how we're tired.
It's the podcast for being tired. It's the podcast, the car podcast, for people who understand that cars are bad. With your friends, Rory Carroll, Maddie Riley, me, Peter Hughes. We had a big field trip this last weekend. We all
did.
rocked up together, and we went to the 6 hours of the Glen at Watkins Glen.
Salins.
Hot
The
dog
Salins
race.
6 hour. It's a hot dog race. Yeah, they had a hot dog race as part of the Indy 500, but
Not
it's not
here.
that race is not actually sponsored by a hot dog company, but this one is.
incidental hot dog activity. Yeah.
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 They really got to get the hot dog branding together. Come on. Circle up.
Catalina. It's another flying boat, though. Oh, Fernando is trying to join the call. Should I admit him?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Why not?
Hey guys,
What's up?
Hey,
You're on.
fourth
Are you-
mic.
I was just calling in for you guys to diagnose the sound I'm hearing in my car.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah. All right. What do
This
you
is
got?
great. We're the call in, by all means. Describe the sound.
I'm hearing a whoosh whoosh sound coming from the engine bay.
Is it a turbocharger?
Yeah, it's going. "Pew!" as it
Absolutely
goes by.
not. It's a full diesel from 1987.
Oh, in the Mercedes.
I'm kidding. There's plenty of noises, but I haven't gone down the list to try to figure that part out yet.
Well, we are talking about airplanes now. So
Okay.
We got about 5 minutes about the Glen, and then we went into other stuff. So you haven't missed anything about reminiscing about the weekend.
Oh yeah, I mean it was tough but fun. So,
Yeah.
it was really great to meet you guys.
Yeah, super fun.
Yeah, I felt bad that we didn't catch you again on race day. I mean, we saw you in the morning briefly, and then I thought we ended up, Maddie and I ended up posted up kind of back in the toe of the boot for the second half of the race. I thought we might run into you there, but didn't see it.
You know, after we were at turn one, I went back and I mean we were burning up so bad, and my son was like, he did this thing where we haven't seen before. He was like, he always asks to walk, and then my wife put him down for 2 seconds, and he was like, nah. Like,
Aww.
let me back up, please. It's too hot.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
he was kind of signaling it was time. So
yeah. Fair enough. Fair enough.
He did a good job. I don't know if we've talked about this in the pod, but I didn't realize. So for the last 4 years, I've been coming out to camp with Peter at Watkins Glen, and for the exact same period, Fernando has been parked like a quarter mile away, also camping at Watkins Glen.
I think we tried to meet up at one point, or we said we were both going, and then
Yeah.
did not make any effort after that.
Yep, that sounds right. But yeah,
But
pretty
that's funny, yeah.
But yeah, I guess like
This is great. We should do this more often. Just drop in.
Yeah, definitely.
Hit the line.
I love people just stopping by.
a pop in.
This rocks.
That's really, it's like a lost thing. But people don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Everybody,
text.
it's like you gotta fucking, hey, is it cool if I swing by? Hey, is it, it's like nobody just fucking, like when we were kids, you would just fucking knock on your
Pop in.
friend's door. It's like, hey, is so and so home?
Yeah.
Can
Now
fucking
it's like I
Johnny
get
come
out of my
to
car.
play?
I get out of my car and I text from my car and I'm like, I'm here.
Right. Right.
And like the person has to come out and get you.
No, but it was a great weekend for us. I think it was a lot of learning for bringing a 1-year-old and my wife for the first time, but we generally had a really great time.
Oh, was it her first time there as well?
It was her first time too, yeah.
Oh,
And
wow.
so it's you don't realize it until like you bring someone else that hasn't been, like how kind of complicated things can be. Like you're not always watching the race, you're sort of like going from place to place, and there's a lot of like different parameters to figure out. But I think as long as you like racing and you like the atmosphere, I think you're gonna have a good time. So
I think the coolest experience family wise for me, I don't know if it was for you, Fern, you guys missed this, but we were watching down in turn 1 where the Corvette corral is, and kind of just posted up on the grass, and we had our families, and then my friend Greg and his family were all there, and all day long we were kind of looking at the rain situation, and it's like, I think the rain completely missed us. And I told Greg, like, don't worry about bringing an umbrella because I don't think it's going to rain down there. And he thankfully was like, no, I think I'm going to bring it anyway. But Fern and I went up to the media center for like 15 minutes to just say hi to Nate and like the PR guys at IMSA. And that exactly coincided with that like torrential downpour that you got for like 10, 15 minutes. And it was like our families were standing outside in the grass. And it was like, all of a sudden I was like, oh God. And it was like, is that rain in the building? And it was like dumping rain for a very short time, but like torrential downpour.
Just,
and then
like last year, man. It's like the thing that happens at the Glen is that it will be just this hot, sunny, sweltering day, and like literally in a space of 5 minutes, like you just see like this giant ass black cloud appear on the horizon, and 5 minutes later it's just torrential biblical downpour. And I remember last year we were up in the grandstand at 11, right, coming on to the front straight, and we were like, hey, should we go down? Let's go down like into the pits or into the paddock or whatever. And we started heading in that direction thinking like, all right, we'll beat the rain or whatever. And we were like on the bridge, like on the bridge across the front straight, like with you and the girls, Rory, and it just unloaded. And by the time we got to the other side, I've got that great picture of all of us just like we had one umbrella, and then we're all in like rain jackets or whatever, but we're just completely
Yeah.
like, it looks like we all just fucking fell in the dump tank, and oh, it was so funny.
I've got
So
a great
Yeah.
selfie of us under the bleachers, just like drenched.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a
It,
technical question for you guys actually about the race.
Ooh.
As I know that I think it was the Acura and then the Cadillac ran out of energy, is how they described it.
Yeah.
Was that weather related, do you think? Like because of the heat, or like how could they have like
No.
miscalculated.
Yeah, it's just
Fuel saving.
I mean, yeah. I mean, that the race ended up kind of coming down to like being like a strategy race, like a fuel saving strategy race. So a bunch of the GTP teams kind of like were playing it really like high risk, high stakes.
Death
Like
or
where
glory.
they were banking on there being like in the last hour of that race, like because there had been so many cautions throughout the day, rather than like pitting again, and you know, ensuring that they had enough, you know, for the final stint would carry them to the end of the race. Like they were all kind of banking on the idea that there would be another caution that would allow them to save fuel in that last hour, and enough that they would be able to get to the finish. And really the only car that successfully managed to do that was the 60 Acura that won. Everybody else kind of had to. I mean, there was a late caution, but it was a very short one. It only lasted for like a couple of laps, not really enough to make a difference. So that's why you saw like the Cadillac, the Wheeling Cadillac, the 31 Cadillac, and then who else had it? There were like a few cars that had to like duck into the pits on the like the final lap,
The other
basically.
Acura, yeah.
Who had been running at the front, and just like they weren't gonna make it, so they kind of.
I was just thinking like why two epic mistakes.
Yeah.
You know, both teams could have really taken that. I mean, it turned out pretty well
Yeah.
for them, but
Well, in the case of Acura, I mean, that's something where they were very deliberately splitting their strategy. So you know, where they
What do you mean
they,
either way?
they had one. Although I say that, but now that I think about it, it's like, well, no, it seems like they were both on kind of the same strategy, and actually, it was only the 60 car that was able to successfully save enough fuel. I mean, that's the other part of it is you know, it's kind of invisible to you know, most spectators, because it's just, you know, you don't see when a guy is doing a fuel saving drive, but there are like kind of telltale signs of like where a guy's just kind of like hanging back. He's not out front. He's just kind of drafting people and just lifting every so often. Just, you know, lifting earlier, going into corners, and just by doing that, you can actually save like a you know, significant enough you know, percentage of fuel that over the course of a bunch of laps. Yes, Maddie.
My question for Peter and Rory on this one.
Yeah.
Do you guys think, this was what crossed my mind while we were watching this happen and after we heard that the Wheeling Cadillac had to pull off, do you guys, because there was that huge stretch where like we just, every time we saw them coming around, Bamber and the Wheeling Cadillacs like got a 10-second lead in the whole field going around. Do you guys think that he should have used that big lead he had to pit and just gone to pit really quick, got a splash of fuel, and that he could have been on the podium if he'd done that? Because he had such a huge, like a crazy lead.
I mean, I guess so. Probably. Hindsight's 2020. I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
like
Hard to say without knowing like where the car was and like what the you know what I mean, what they know. But I mean, like there are, yeah, like Peter said, like there are calls like that where it's like you're in the moment and you're like, you know, what do we do? And like,
Well, and the thing is, but they also, I mean, they have so much information that they're going on. I mean, it's like the guys who are making those calls, you know, I mean, it's all informed on kind of telemetry data that you know
we don't have, obviously.
I mean, right. And you know, and it's like these dudes who are just in front of just fucking enormous banks of computer screens and displays just showing all of this data. And these guys, the race engineers have like they've prepared, like they just have spreadsheets and spreadsheets that are like continuously updating. So all of those calls, you know, I mean, they're like none of them, like, I mean, I'm sure there was a point years ago where you know it was more just kind of like hunches and intuition and you know, I think we can make it or whatever, you know, like kind of Hollywood shit. But it's like at this point it's like NASA level stuff,
but
where
they are still making the decision at the end of the day, where it's like you have all the information and like someone is just,
and at some point you just kind of have to decide whether to gamble or but
you might say you have to know when to hold them and when to fold them, and I think you know, you got to live with the consequences either way, I think.
You can say that.
I mean, the one Wayne Taylor Cadillac that pitted and then, you know, got all the way up to the onto the podium for at the end. That seems like nice schmoove, the schmoove.
Yeah, well, they both played it.
Yeah,
played it pretty well. Yeah.
I was my driver spotting. I saw, like I said, Milner and Oliver Gavin. I saw. I did see Jordan Taylor in the pit coming out from the, and I was telling the guys, I was like, he's got like a girlfriend that he's walking around with now, and I don't know how long they've been together. I don't really follow that stuff. Although I think
I saw her. I'm pretty sure that's the same lady. I saw her. She was with him at Daytona like a year and a half ago. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's fairly recent, like last couple of years. There is a really funny, I don't know if it's still on his account or not, but there's a really funny account Jordan Taylor tells of dating this woman who turned out to be married when he was a young driver.
You've mentioned that, and I've never looked it up. I gotta find it.
I'll find it.
Is it on his YouTube?
I think it's on his I think it's on his Instagram, and it's probably you know, several years old. But you know, he's, what's that?
Jordan Taylor has a YouTube?
Oh, he's hysterical. It's great.
Dude, Jordan Taylor's YouTube is he does this
a young athlete thing.
No, he does this thing where he pretends to be like a vlogger, you know, or I guess he is, but you know, like one of these guys who's just like you know, going to the races and doing his report. So like he'll show up at you know, for test day at Daytona or whatever, and he'll just be like, you know, sports cars for life.
Sports cars for life.
You know, for life.
Dude.
Oh yeah, no, there's a bunch of great stuff. There's stuff with him like just driving like little remote control cars up and down the front straight at Le Mans like years ago. I mean, it just super goofy.
He also has a NASCAR
really
alter ego called Rodney Sandstorm, who will be in
about
the Truck
Rodney.
Series this weekend.
So this is what I was going to talk about, but Rodney Sandstorm is like a guy who's like I think the premise is that he's a big Jeff Gordon fan and wears like the Jeff Gordon starter jacket from his, what's the paint sponsor? Glidden, is that right?
Throw it up on the screen, Maddie.
I'm putting it on the big board.
I'm just kidding.
I'm putting it up on the big board.
But I think Jordan Taylor, as he's like, you know, there's some of the Rodney Sandstorm stuff is pretty dorky. Like it's extremely dorky. He's got his like white New Balances and like khaki pants on. But I think the funny thing, or I guess like my thought was that, oh, since this girl has been around, or since his girlfriend has been around, he's been doing less Rodney Sandstorm stuff, which, like, if I was a young guy with a new girlfriend, I probably also would be inclined to do less Rodney Sandstorm stuff. And I saw them walking around in the pit, and I was like, oh, there's Jordan, and there's the woman who he's being somewhat less goofy for now. Good for him. I was like, he's kind of grown up. That's awesome. And then not 24 hours later, I got the announcement from Jordan Taylor that he is entering a Truck Series race as Rodney Sandstorm in character.
Yes.
Under the name Rodney Sandstorm. And I was like, oh, I guess.
Wait, is it really under the name?
Dude, yeah.
He's racing as Rodney Sandstorm?
It's in the chat.
Yes.
It's in the chat.
Hilarious.
Oh my God. I didn't realize that. Holy shit,
Dude.
that is
That's
hilarious.
like the weirdo reverse situation of Cletus McFarland.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where
No,
he's-
it's
Yes.
Like, what world do we live? He's like coming in from the other side doing the same thing.
Yeah,
Like
dude.
he's
Yeah.
a character. Like,
Oh, it's great.
The weird thing about the Jordan Taylor thing, obviously, is that he is a real professional athlete who has 4 IMSA championships and is still it's
just like total elite tier
like one of the world's
driver
best
and
drivers.
athlete, and it's just running this goofy sideshow meme thing at the
people's
same
hero.
time. You got.
He's always been
man.
kind of a goofy guy, I will say.
I love a bit. I love
but-
commitment to the bit. Thank you, Jordan Taylor, for committing to
this
the
is
bit.
Daniel Ricciardo's dream. This is
Yeah.
what he wanted to do.
Yeah, could never get it together. I think that the thing too. Oh, I found it. The Jordan Taylor thing is like one of those classic comedy things where it's like, if you do it for a while, it will eventually become cringe, and you have a choice to make at that point, whether or you're not, or you stick with it. And if you power through the cringe
It's like,
part
do
of it,
you double down?
yeah,
That's
if you
the thing. Like, do you have the courage to double down when it hits that point?
Yeah,
Man.
and if you stick with it for another 10 years, it becomes very funny again.
Rory is suffering from a little bit of jaded internet disease. I personally find Rodney Sandstorm unfailingly charming. I think everything Jordan's
Well-
doing is wonderful.
But the other part of that too is that I've been watching Jordan Taylor do this for like 10 years, like
Yeah.
or so. Yeah,
Hell
so
yeah,
I'm
dude.
accustomed to it.
But he's
The
got
novel-
it. But the thing is, like, now that IMSA actually, like, I mean, think about where IMSA is at now compared to 10 years ago. It's like,
Yeah.
you know, he's got,
Oh, yeah.
there's so much more potential audience for that like so many people who don't even know who Rodney Sandstorm is.
yeah, no, it's
So
true.
he
You find
owes
out.
it. He owes it to them and to IMSA to keep it going.
I mean, Connor Zolich and Shane Van Gisbergen are in NASCAR, and they're having a great time. And you know, they were our Trackhouse Corvette boys. I mean, it's pretty sick. Like that there's more play going on in the series.
I'm just remembering now. I found the Jordan Taylor thing. I sent it to you guys, but I'm remembering in 2019 when he had emergency appendix surgery and then raced the following weekend. Do you remember that?
No.
He was in Hawaii and had the typical appendix coming out
Yeah.
symptoms. They removed it, and then like literally a few days later he was in Long Beach lapping
Jesus.
the Cadillac. Yeah, real psycho behavior.
Yeah, the lava lamp stories. Good.
Yeah.
That's
I had
insane.
appendicitis one time and they left it in. Actually.
Oh really?
Oh
Yeah,
Christ!
it was the weirdest thing. I think I was 18 or so, and had the whole symptom thing. Went to the hospital, and then I kind of remember the doctor, because I was in like a bunch of like pain stuff, and they were like, "Oh yeah, your body's taking care of it. Like it ruptured, but your body's taking care of it." I'm like, okay.
Whoa.
I didn't know you could do that.
I didn't know. So to this day, I feel like I have like a a time bomb in my body, just like waiting.
You probably do.
I would say it's the
Damn.
opposite. It's like, no, your body can, if your body can take care of that, it's like, what can't it take care of?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta test it more.
Anyway, sorry for that.
I'm really going down sorry, now I'm looking at Jordan Taylor's Instagram from like the late teens, and going really down memory lane here. I forgot how different the Cadillacs looked. Like the IMSA cars changed a lot.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny how quickly like the current generation of cars just like when they came on, it was like, oh my god, they're so fresh, they're so good looking, they're so like like they look unbelievable, and then it just completely wiped away the memory of all the cars before that. Like it just seems like this crop of cars has been the cars forever.
Yeah.
And when you do see like the last generation cars, they still look Cadillac-ish, but they're
They're a little bit more goofy.
yeah, like they're a little bit ungainly compared to how svelte they are now. Kind of across the board.
It is very funny too. I think we've talked about this many times on the pod, but this era of 5 years ago seems like it did not happen. Like this seems like
Oh yeah.
a very fictional period. It's like maybe I watched a movie about this, but I do not remember. I do not recall having lived any of this.
It does feel like a previous life. Yeah.
Yeah, really good. He did also, like Jordan Taylor. I think the Sandstorm thing initially started with him unironically, maybe ironically, just wearing a mullet everywhere. Like he showed up to the Auto Week office with like a real, not like a fashion hot guy mullet, like a Billy Ray Cyrus.
We've
style
been over this.
mullet. Yeah, have we been over it? Okay.
Oh, the mullets.
Yeah.
Listen, the mullet's great if you like it on like a non-binary lesbian. It's a great mullet. I mean, if you can pull it off,
Oh,
good
yeah.
luck.
Yeah, he was a little ahead of his time in that response. In
Uh-huh.
that respect, I think.
Yeah. It's super cute. I love it. I love that
Yeah.
mullet. I want to touch it.
Yeah, it's not there anymore. It's gone.
I know. In my dreams.
R.I.P.
Gotta bring it back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
bring it back.
Jordan Taylor, I'm begging, please. The people
Yeah.
demand. I want it back.
I think I talked to the girlfriend. I would imagine she's the keeper of the mullet, or the deciding factor there. Although maybe not. Like I said.
I mean, the thing is, that might have been the thing that lured her in.
Yeah.
Very likely. Very likely.
Rodney
With Rodney.
Sandstorm.
Rodney Sandstorm.
Yeah.
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 I mean, the thing is, like, it's hard to imagine. I mean, the guy's kind of his goofiness is so kind of
Intrinsic.
forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, that like I have to think like
She's okay with it.
yeah,
have
you
to
got to
be.
be down with it if because however suave he can be at his suavest, I got to think that there's still a pretty big goofy component to
Yeah.
him just in day-to-day life.
Yeah, I would say office visits or like interviews and stuff. He's acts normal, but
Right.
he's a goofy guy. He's having fun.
Maybe Jordan is the alter ego.
Yeah, and Rodney Sandstorm is the true
Maybe.
face.
Yeah.
Actually, that might be probably a little bit closer to the truth.
I love it. I'm a big fan.
What else happened at the race weekend?
Tons of stuff.
Predictably, the kids were obsessed with the AO Racing dinosaurs. I think
Yeah.
that continued. Like that was, I think we all did the grid walk. That was easily the biggest crowd for any car or any set of cars on the grid. I talked to
Yeah, we couldn't
Dunan.
even get near it.
Yeah, I talked to Dunan about it, and he was like, yeah, that's almost seemed a little disappointed, but like obviously not disappointed. But he was like, yeah, that's the only thing kids care about now about IMSA. And I was like, yeah, but it's good. Like that's good. And he's like, yeah, it's good for the whole series, obviously, to like have kids who are like invested in a team and a team that's like competitive. But it was like, it's almost like, man, I wish these kids cared about any of the other teams or cars on the grid. But it's like other teams and cars should have a cartoon livery. That's
I'm telling you,
it's
have a mascot.
not rocket science. Yeah.
Get a mascot.
Not
Draw a
rocket
picture.
science.
The thing
make
that I
them-
think is funny about it is, I mean, the reason that it originally happened. I mean, the thing that enables that to exist, right, is just the fact that you have this guy PJ Hyatt who amateur driver, starts this team, who's the GitHub billionaire, and because he's so wealthy, he can just underwrite the whole project. So he doesn't need to look for a title sponsor for the car, right?
Yeah.
So he doesn't have to have advertising plastered all over it. So instead, he can do this fun thing for his kids where he dresses his cars up like dinosaurs and dragons. But at this point, it's become, I mean, this is like the third year, right? Third season of that car running that livery. And and it's become such a huge phenomenon. And there's so much, I mean, there's a ton of shit that they give away, obviously, just like the friendship bracelets and,
so good.
and the stickers and all the other stuff.
They know their audience.
Yeah.
They are also selling a shit ton
Yeah.
of merch. I mean, if you go through each season, the vending setup has gotten like crazier and crazier, where now it's not just, now it's like a whole freaking wardrobe.
Yeah.
And branded everything of Rexy and Roxy and Spike the Dragon. And they've got to be making money hand over fist just
Yeah.
on the fucking merchandising thing. And I got to wonder, like, I mean, it can't be as much as what they would be getting from like, a top line sponsor, but it could be close.
Yeah.
I mean, he could be breaking even.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's
just-
great. I feel like more teams should consider not maybe not as cartoony, but some different ideas bringing to like the idea of the livery. Like,
Yeah.
it's just
I think what-
there's always going to be a cool car, or that'll be fine. But some different ideas would be very.
We need a Rexy for the grown-ups.
Yeah.
Like, what would that be? I don't even know what it would be, but
It's going to be Jurassic Park putting their dinosaurs on cars and telling us to go watch the movie.
Yeah.
well, we did. I mean, we did get to see the movie advertisement car again.
We did.
With the
Chip Hart.
the Chip Hart Racing.
Oh, yeah.
On the Adam Adelson funded Wright Motorsports Porsche, running in its what's that movie called? We're gonna have to go and
F1?
see that movie,
F1.
right?
I think we're
Is
going.
it just called F1?
Yeah, Fern's going tonight, and I'm gonna try to go tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm going. I got my ticket booked tomorrow. I'm
Nice.
gonna go. It's been a long time since I've seen a movie in the theaters by myself, so I'm excited.
Yeah,
And
report back.
yeah, we're gonna possibly do something on it for Alloy, and yeah, we'll see.
Nice.
We have to do a tired ep. We have to do an F1 movie ep
Sure.
for that.
Drag myself to the movies.
I'm
Yeah,
keeping
it's-
my expectations low.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
If
Probably
it's
safe.
yeah, I think if it's a racing movie, the odds are pretty good, as we've discussed on the pod, that it's going to be not my favorite. I think the state of I was back to the Rexy AO racing thing. I think like
Yeah.
walking around in that like merch area, like the village, it is like you have to imagine the other teams are looking at the Rexy thing and being like, huh, like, the crowd of people like coming in and out of that merch tent. Like you said, I don't know if that's like a drop in the bucket against the budget of a real race team. I think probably, it's not probably top of mind for a lot of teams, but like the quality of racing merch and like the amount of stuff that was for sale there that I would ever wear anywhere is pretty thin. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, yeah. I mean, it's targeting like young people and
Well, it's not. Yeah, it's not for you.
Yeah,
It's for
exactly.
children.
yeah.
Hey, my wife bought a shirt.
There you go.
No, not the AL racing stuff. The
Oh,
racing
you're talking
stuff in
about the other
general.
stuff.
Yeah.
Well, because
Yeah,
you're
no,
not a homer. I mean, the thing is, I mean, there's lots of people who just like
want a Corvette
they
shirt.
they have their team. You know, they have their car, or it's like if you have a Corvette, you're rooting for the. I mean, there's that funny picture that I took there when we were down in the boot. There were these two. They must have been twin brothers. These were probably like two 30-year-old bros, and they're wearing like matching shorts, matching hats, except the hats were different colors, but they were the same hat, matching backpacks, and matching
Flip the Bird.
Tommy Milner flipping the
shirt.
bird
Yeah, I saw those
Corvette
guys.
shirts. And they're down on the fence, just like taking pictures as the cars go by. But it was just so funny because they were twinsies. Like they went to the races dressed the same. It was just so funny to
That
me.
was actually me and Roy.
That is awesome.
Was that you guys? Yeah.
I said the one guy having the red brim on the hat is like how one of the liveries will have like a side mirror differentiated from the other car.
Well, the mirrors are class differentiators, but they do the thing where sometimes if there's two cars in the same class that are the same team and they have identical liveries, they'll do the windshield strip across the top will be one will be white, one will be red, which would be actually the perfectly analogous to the brim of your hat being a different color than your brother's.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very sweet. Very
Acura tried
Wholesome.
to do a little bit of a play towards, I don't know if it's a younger crowd. I guess it's a younger crowd with the anime stuff that they made a couple years ago, which I was part of. And they actually had a booth there that had a bunch of it was called Chiaki's Journey, which was like a total anime style episodic thing, but it's not. There were episodes, but they were basically commercials, 30 seconds long. And they had a couple liveries on the different classes of cars that had Chiaki on it, which was the character in the thing. And when I was talking to John Akeda from HRC, he was saying that he sounded kind of bummed that they weren't continuing that because of the AR racing stuff.
Yeah.
So and how it's been successful. So I think they tried not as much as putting a full-on dinosaur on the side of a car, but it was a worthy attempt to try to break up this kind of very specific racing scene.
Yeah. Bring some cross-cultural references.
Yeah.
Bring some Itasha flavor. Yeah. Get a little Itasha vibe into the race.
Yeah. They have some of that still, but not the characters anymore.
Yeah. Boo.
Yeah, there is I would say a high degree of variability between how much teams care about their visual presentation and their visual branding. Some of them really put some effort into it, and some of them do not seem to give a shit. But it's just the way it is. It's the way it is in racing. And also some of the worst liveries are some of the best all-time liveries are liveries that were total half-assed efforts that they just ended up looking funny or cool. But it's good to see the AO guys out there for sure. What else?
Well, the other part that we should tell is just going to dinner. So we ended up all going to dinner at the Seneca Lodge, which is this super historic this spot in town, or just outside of town, just up the hill. along the old course from downtown Watkins Glen. And just the, there's a bunch of, it's like a motel, and then there's just like this big restaurant and bar that is kind of historic. It has this, it's the place where drivers would stay and hang out going back, into the 60s, 50s, 60s. And I had never been and always wanted to go, and I would always be there on a race weekend and just think, oh, it's just going to be too crazy. There's no way, there's no way I could even get a table or whatever. And so I just never bothered. And then would occasionally think, like, if I was down there by myself, it's like, oh, maybe I should, but it just seemed like, well, that seems kind of, it should be a special occasion when I finally go to this place, And then we ended up just fucking going there, like on, what was it, Friday night, Saturday night, right?
Before
Saturday night, night before the race, like craziest night that you could have gone. And we had what, like 10, 12 people or something.
12 people, yeah.
And we just fucking walked in, and I mean, one of you guys, Fernando, did you call?
Yeah, I had
before.
Called, I had called 30 minutes prior to when we arrived, and when Rory told me we were 12 people, I'm like, well, we're getting fast food. But surprisingly enough, the last 2 years that I had been to the restaurant, it didn't seem all that crowded to me, and I had been on a Saturday night every time.
Oh, okay.
And I was thinking there would be a chance.
Yeah.
I think generally the vibe is very cool, but the food is like whatever. So maybe that's why. But yeah,
I don't know that there's a lot of other like top shelf, 4-star Michelin spots in Watkins Glen, unfortunately. So
the barbecue place, if you've been before, Peter, like the barbecue place downtown, I forgot the name, but it is very, very good actually.
Okay. I don't think I've been there
past couple of years too, but I'll find the name, I'll send it to you. But it's super, super good.
Cool.
But yeah, I think it was a bit of luck too that we got in with 12 people. They smashed 2 tables together, and and there we are with like 12 people, and like half of them kids running around.
Right. And so we walk in, and it's like, oh, it's pretty full, but no, they just have this big giant table ready for us, and we just waltz in and sit down. But the thing that was so funny was that bunch of AO racing people at the table directly like next to us, and Rory, your kids clocked them, and they had gone over, you had taken them through like in the paddock, like the earlier that day, so they had gotten like their stickers and hero cards and stuff, right?
Yeah. So they went and they'd seen the cars in the paddock, and obviously like remembered them from last year. And yeah, there were 3 girls, my friend Greg's daughter, and then my 2 kids, and Greg's daughter's older, and then our 2 kids, obviously some, and then
older by like a year or 2.
Yeah,
I mean, these are all like sub 10-year-old kids, right?
Yeah. So they spotted the AO people, and like you could see my daughter and Greg's daughter were talking about it, and they were like, "Oh, we should go over there. We should talk to him." And I was like, "Yeah, go ahead, go over, talk to him." Like, I'm very much like about forcing the kids to like do stuff on their own, like have social interactions with adults, because it's like, I think a lot of parents just like take care of that stuff, and it's better for them to be uncomfortable. But anyway, I was like, go over there and talk to him. And they're like, no, we're nervous, we're scared. And I was like, take your little sister, she'll go talk to him. And the little one was walked right over with everybody, walked right up and just said hi. Like stood at the end of the table and was just like, hi. And like they started talking, and one of the AL racing people was super friendly and really spent some time and gave them all friendship bracelets and stickers.
This woman
and
was just like a
yeah.
total pro. Like could have been like a kindergarten teacher. I mean,
Yeah.
she got down on her knees, was on their level, looking him like direct in the eye. I mean, she knew exactly, you know, what she and the girls were just eating it up. They were jumping
Yeah.
up and down. They were so excited. They were getting their friendship bracelets. I mean, and they were showing them like some drawings that they had made too. Was that
Yeah.
the thing that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they had
The
made
girls had
drawings of the
drawn.
car and the dinosaurs.
Right.
Yeah.
Peter, we
Yeah,
have
it was
to.
really good.
We can't forget to include the immortal phrase this woman from the AO Racing team uttered to the girls.
Oh right, that's right. Yes, yeah. As her parting words to them was.
As she was expressing, like, remember to ask your parents before you do anything. Make sure they know where you are. Don't
Yeah,
just
yeah.
run over to us.
Exactly. And then she just says, and remember, Rexy is not more important than your parents. That was great.
It was
It was true.
wonderful.
Looks up at
Appreciate
us
that.
with a big wink. Like,
Not actually true, but
Rexy is definitely more important than their parents, but
Right.
It's neither here nor there. But yeah, it was great. Dinner was awesome. We got to go in the back room in the bar, which is like a super famous place in racing lore. Saw some of the Cadillac folks, including the new head of what's her title? Keely Boson. She was at Le Mans, and I didn't talk to her, but she's like she came from
she took
Naval.
over she took over the spot that Laura Weintraub Klauser had her role. She had been
Yeah.
kind of the it's like the head of competition or whatever for GM. Like is that
and-
something like that?
Yeah, so she's got Cadillac Racing, which is IMSA and
Okay.
WEC. So I don't know if it's exactly the same role or if it's a different title, but yeah, a very interesting person, super cool, and quite a backstory. Involves U.S. Navy logistics, working with SEAL Teams 5 and 7.
Eyeball emoji.
Yeah, would love to know more about that experience. Yeah, would love to know more about that experience at some point. But yeah, I got to talk to her and some of the other Cadillac folks there. Just a great environment. Like it's so cool. I've been doing this stuff for a long time, and it is still like I've been to a bunch of races and seen a lot of stuff, but it is still very cool to be in an environment either at the track or like socially where it's all racing people, and it's like all people who are doing like the circus of being in IMSA on the road, and like it's like that's where they act. Like it's still cool, like it's still a very romantic, exciting environment, and those people are all almost universally very funny and like very fun to hang out with. So thank you, Fernando, for getting us a big table. It was very cool.
Yeah. No, I mean I've had that experience too. It's just that thing of like when you go to a race and you're just seeing all the stuff, you take it all in. But then when you go to another one somewhere else, and it's a lot of the same people, and then you go to another one and you keep seeing all the same people, and then it's like, and they start recognizing you and remembering you, and then it's like it is like this kind of traveling circus vibe, that there is a definite glamour, but it's also the glamour that's like tempered with the grittiness of the reality of just the difficulty of the work that those people are doing, but it's both glamorous and unglamorous at the same time, but there's a definite kind of appeal and just coolness about that aspect of it.
Yeah, and it is fun to, like you said, Peter, like the number of IMSA people who I'm on like a mutual recognition and nod, but not actually know who the person is basis is probably higher than any other single organization. It's just like, oh yeah, like I see you 4 or 5 times a year at stuff, and like, yeah, I remember like the first time I went to Watkins Glen. I think I told this story in the pod, but going to see the Mazda guys when they won, and actually,
I remember that. Yeah,
but I remember like. I rushed in. I got there halfway through the race, watched the race, and like immediately went and got on a plane out. I think in maybe Ithaca Airport, or like it's a little tiny airport.
Was it Elmira?
Maybe it was teeny, but it was a jet. I flew out on a jet.
It might have been Elmira.
But it was like a flight to Detroit immediately after the race, and every single person on the plane was a team, like IMSA team person, like mechanic or like somebody trying to get home. And it was so funny because it was like I got on and everybody was like, "Who's this fucking guy?" It was like, it was like not a very remarkable looking person in any way, but all of a sudden it was like, who are you? Like, what team are you with? Like because I was not an IMSA guy.
That's
but
funny.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's super cool. And I think too, like, one of the cool things about IMSA is like that experience is open to anybody. Like, you don't have to be a journalist or whatever. Like, you can just be a fan, and like that accessibility is right there. Like, you go out to dinner in Watkins Glen and there's Chip Ganassi and there's, like,
or just walk around the fucking
Taylor.
paddock,
Yeah.
I did stop on during grid walk. I stopped by the BMW, like a couple. The BMW drivers were just sitting on the the wall, in front of the pit box, and Sheldon Vanderlinder was was there, and I was like, "Hey, man, so I saw you at Bathurst earlier this year," and he was like, "Oh, nice, yeah." It's like, here we are on the other side of the world. It's like, yeah, right.
Yeah. I mean, it is.
Didn't have as good a day at Watkins Glen, unfortunately.
It is wild to think about that experience of like, it's like I did the back-to-back as a fan basically, and it's like, flew business class both ways, and then like went home to my house and like had a regular week. But it's amazing to think about that experience as a driver of being like at Bathurst and like or Le Mans or whatever, and it's like getting in a car to go race again the following weekend. It's got to be fucking nuts. Like
in like 7 time zones off from where you were. It's like it's like from weekend to weekend. I mean, if you follow any of these guys like on Insta or whatever, and you just look at what their actual year is like, and so many of them are none of these people like compete in only one series. They're all jumping from it's WEC one weekend, it's IMSA another weekend, it's
car to car, persona to persona,
ELMS, exactly, right. All these other lesser series, or like the I mean, this weekend was also Nürburgring 24, so there were a bunch of, like, half of the people from Le Mans came to Watkins Glen, the other half went to Nürburgring. It's funny.
Pretty good.
Maddie, I want to you're the person that we haven't heard from, and you're the person who had never been to an IMSA race before, so I feel like we need to get your impressions as a first time race goer.
I have a whole list. We've been knocking out a handful of topics, but I think we've definitely been. We've got good coverage so far of kind of maybe more of the inside baseball stuff, but like actually especially since we have a lot of listeners who are like me, have zero experience up until just now of going to a race and what's different about it. I think we should definitely put in some time talking about like what was cool about it. I mean, right off the bat, like getting into town. The first thing that we did is Peter picked me up from the Walmart, from which I was not towed after 3 days parked there. That's a big dub, huge dub on the board. But Peter picked me up, and we drove around.
I did notice when I was pulling out of there, by the way, after after I dropped you off and you bailed, and when I was pulling out, there were so many people who were like bringing their shit back from the race and like loading it into the vehicles that they had staged there. So you were far from the only person using. I think that's just kind of like, I don't know what Walmart's larger policy is, but I think it's pretty obvious that just for
race weekend,
they've got a deal where it's just like with the town where it's just like, just fucking let people do this shit. So.
Yeah,
Wait, so you parked there and because you couldn't park at the race?
Yeah, well, so when you get
two camping spots,
overnight parking sells out immediately. Yeah.
Right. When you get a campground, you get 2 passes, which was, I mean, the reason that Rory started coming down was like 4 years ago. I was just, this was something that I had always wanted to do, and kind of like, during COVID, it was just like, all right, well, when I can do this again, like this is definitely happening. And so I bought the campground and went and bought a tent and, all my camping shit, whatever. And then I get my pass in the mail, and it's like a week out, and it's like, oh, there's an extra parking pass, and I take a picture of it and send it to Rory. I was like, hey man, I got an extra pass, just saying, just like as a joke. And he just texted back, and he's like, oh, we're coming. It's like, let me talk to the ladies, and he came down. So that kind of started. That's how that tradition started. Yeah. But yeah, so we had 3 vehicles and 2 parking spots, so it just made sense for the smallest car to stay at the
go off site.
The Walmart.
Yeah,
the one without a tent on the roof.
I have from experience that we will chronicle at some future episode. I have a lot of hypervigilance about Walmart general parking, towing behavior.
Yeah.
But so after I chucked all my stuff into the Hyundai, we went and we drove the original course, which is preserved with a bunch of signs out and around Watkins Glen, in between kind of the downtown and the current state of the Watkins Glen International. But like you can go up and drive around it. There's all these farms and everything. You get down to this cool stone bridge, and you can kind of actually take the whole loop of what the original course looked like back in, Peter, when was that? Contemporary too?
So I think it was like 48 to 51 or 2. Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's all these. There's a lot of cool stuff in downtown with all these like plaques commemorating different racers. There's all these shops that have like photos of like drivers and cars in them. The town is just like obviously super proud of the racing history there, which is really neat. Like if you're in town early ahead of the Glen next year, when you all come and hang out and see us, there's plenty of cool stuff to do in town. You can get to see a lot of neat stuff. There's a lot of cool murals, so that's really neat on the lower energy side of stuff of just going and chilling. And
going early, going early is a big positive play. I think, as you kind of get to experience and take in some stuff before all the hype is going around. I unfortunately couldn't do that this year, but I've thought about that, coming in on a Thursday or something, just to experience a little bit more. I always
just get there like Thursday. I go down on Thursday, like not early, but get down there Thursday afternoon, and it just kind of get set up and
the park there. I've never been to, actually, the water.
Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah,
it's beautiful. Yeah, it's great hike.
Yeah, the setting I think is especially really worth noting. Like, it's just a really beautiful area. I mean, we're talking about being like we've said, like being down in the boot or the toe of the boot, which is the section of the. If you look at like a drawing of Watkins Glen, you can see it's kind of like a frog, like a little frog sitting down, and kind of where like the little frog foot would be is called like the boot. This little curve looks like a boot, and it is this big. It's a big meadow that the track kind of goes in a loop around, so you can see the cars coming up a hill, up and around you, going up and away. So you get both sides of the engine noise. You get this really beautiful view of the cars coming and going. And the scenery itself, like there's some trees for shade. There's when we were there in June, there's a lot of flowers poking up everywhere. Really sweet. And also in the boot, there are no loudspeakers. Like that was a big, that was a thing that we noticed a lot during the camping portion of our weekend. Was if it's if it's race time and there are announcements, you're like right below a speaker sometimes at your campsite, and they're loud. But out in the boot,
The first time I went, I was in a rooftop tent, and that thing was in my ear, and it was. I forgot. I don't remember. It was. I don't remember the. I don't know if the track announcer is different from the broadcast announcer, but he was much worse and very annoying. Not to mention, they also played a bunch of like terrible music.
it's all butt rock.
They did that
man.
this year. The first night, the first night that I didn't notice it as much the subsequent nights, but the first night that I was there, it's like after the racing had started, after practice and whatever had stopped for the day, and they're just playing like just the most random, fucking summer of '69 and shit, and it's just like, and and like Led Zeppelin, which like, okay, that's fine, but like it doesn't sound good. It's coming out of like a fucking it's not it's not meant for nobody's
good.
enjoying this,
No,
right?
no,
It's like
not at
you can
all.
turn this off, bro.
Yeah, that was really nice about being in the boot. Is like if you wanted commentary, you had to like pipe in your Le Mans radio yourself and kind of listen, or like have your Peacock app on your phone or whatever to follow the race. But it gave it a nice kind of that immersive quality we're talking about, where it's just you and the sound of the field going by you as the laps kind of tick on, which was super nice. And my favorite part was like as the cars are going by, like in the lull. Every time, like you could still hear, like out in the woods areas around the track, you could still hear the birds chirping away. Like they're totally used to it. They're like, yeah, it's part of our ecosystem. We're cool. It's so nice. Like it's such
Part of the thing I like about the noise is you just have no choice to listen to it because you can't hear anybody else when the cars are going by.
Oh yeah.
So
The
sometimes
pause.
you just like you get it, you adhere to the pause, and everyone just shuts up, and everyone's just hanging around, just listening to the cars, and that's it,
Yeah, and we had some
Yes.
good sounds because we had in the field we had the three Cadillacs, which had that really like bass, that really throaty like nice bass engine sound going by, and then you had the Aston going by with that like nice that wail as it's coming. You can hear it coming all the way around the bend. You can hear it going. If you're in the boot, you catch it both ways coming and going through. Like super cool. Peter, you compared that to some engine noise you remembered from catching races when you were younger.
Yeah, well, I mean, you kind of correctly noted that it's like, ooh, when the Cadillac and the Aston go by together, it sounds really good. And I was
does.
like, yeah. I was like, that is the secret recipe. And I explained about like how like when I was in high school and going to vintage races, and I remember being at these vintage races where there were like a couple of 60s Ferraris, like an actual 250 GTO and a 250 LM, with these small displacement V12s, and then also like big block Corvettes and 427 Cobras with these just big honking V8s. And when those cars would come, and both of them just like spectacular sounding cars, just on their own, but when they would come by together and hearing them in concert, where you get the crazy bass rumble and just hitting you in the chest of the V8, and then just this high pitched wail just at the top of the V12. It's like that shit in concert with each other. It's just like that's music.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's great that like the Cadillacs and that Aston Martin are just 50, 60 years later, just the most recent iteration of that
Dynamic,
beautiful tune that has been going on for so long. But it's great that it's still around. We still get it.
Yeah. And it does feel so nice when the cars are going by. Like, it's very, I definitely feel like it's very similar to, like, you know, you can really like a record, but if you go and you see them play the songs live, it's totally different. Especially, like, the comparison of, like, the Cadillac going by, like, 15 feet from you and, like, kick drum, like, stuff that gets into your sternum is beautiful no matter what it is. I think, like, getting to actually stand there and feel the cars go by and feel like your water bottle rumble, or like be standing by the chain link fence and feel everything kind of like wobble as the cars are going by, like, just adds to that feeling of immersion. It's super nice. I feel like, I mean, like, I can't wait to go to another race. Like, it just felt so nice to be there and just be like smack in the middle of it and get all that sensory input of it, you know, like, is totally different from watching on TV or even watching, like, I don't know, Instagram reels of, like, even really cool engine noise. Like, nothing's cooler than standing there and feeling it. Rocks.
I was talking to, I don't remember if it was Tony Miller or Oliver Gavin at Le Mans about the sound of the C7s and C6s, and I, like, you know, I never thought about this before, but I was like, yeah, you know, it's always really cool because you can hear you guys coming from a long ways away. And they were like, it's actually really cool in the car too. They're like, you would pack your ears with the foam, whatever you call it, earplugs, and then pack your ears with napkins and pack your ears with whatever you could get in there, and then put like a headband over it. And it's like, and it would be loud, but he's like, the sensation of like feeling the noise in the driver's seat is really nice over a long race. That, like, it's just comforting because it's like,
I was just gonna say, is it like a massage? Is it like a chair massage?
It's like you can tell the car's running right. You get that feedback of, like, you know what I mean? Like, in a lot of cars, like, it's a little bit muted, or like it's a little bit more higher frequency, so it's like hard to tell. But he's like, you can just feel that the machine is working properly. And it's like, it's this feedback sensation of, like, you know, the car, like, talking to you. And, like, it was like, it's a uniquely, like, satisfying, and he said just comforting experience, like, over the course of a 24-hour race, to be in the car and have it, like, giving you that feedback, which is, like, you know, makes total sense. But I'd never thought about that before. And like I said, you don't get that with other stuff.
Yeah.
The
I totally fall asleep.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, totally. Immediately.
Race
Totally.
car driver, like,
Yeah,
I'm taking a break, like,
honk
I'm
shoe,
asleep.
honk shoe.
Yeah.
The
like you're sleeping inside of a cat or something.
Yeah, I was gonna say the purring. It'll totally get you, like that the cyclical kind of thing.
Yeah.
I was gonna say there was one other noise that I observed from being there at the race that was crazy, that Peter had to explain to me. That was when we were watching for the Michelin Pilot Challenge. The Hyundais were going by, and they would come by us, and as they were, like, coming towards a turn, I would hear this little, like, pew noise come off them, and I'm like, is that this, like, squeak, chirp kind of thing? And I'm like, is that the tires? What is that? And Peter's like, oh, that's the turbo. And so and it is. I got actually a good, like, 7-second video of one of them doing it. I think one of the Herdas, but, like, just a totally sci-fi sound to come off of a car, and to find out that it's mechanical is very cool. I was trying to look up online, like, which part of the system it is, and it turns out there is a ton of debate.
That's a wastegate sound, that sound.
No, there's a more specific, like, really distinct specific.
Yeah, this is a very distinctive. I mean, I think it is the wastegate, but it's not. I mean, there's kind of like your classic, like, there's like that sound. There's like the kind of
right.
There's that one.
That one's different.
This one is like a pew.
Yeah.
It's like a whistle. It's got a little bit of tea kettle to it, but it's got
piercing.
This kind of like upward glissando, just kind of pew.
Yeah.
It's just
really.
It's a funny one, but it's unique to the Hyundais for some reason.
Interesting.
But there's a lot of debate about like whether there's which part of like a turbo like generates this specific noise, and then everyone's like, you mean flutter? And people are like, no, I don't think so, I think it's different. But if we could get if anyone listening works for Hyundai and has a good explanation of what the cool sound is, the cool little Jetsons ass noise that those cars make that I love, please write into the pod.
Jetsons that's a great.
Yeah, it's like pew.
Yeah, it's funny because you were asking me about it, Maddie, and I was like, and it's like, oh yeah, no, it's just like the turbo like blowing off, like when they get off throttle, but then I was like thinking about it like some more. It's like, oh wait, how can I actually what is the actual mechanism like happening here that's making that exact sound? And I was really struggling to like to put my finger on it.
Yeah.
But it is. I mean, it's when the cars. It's when they lift, and that pressure is released. Is that what's?
Yeah, it must be a wastegate thing. So like obviously the turbo, when you're wide open, it's feeding air into the motor. Then when you come off the throttle, the air is not being sucked into the motor. So there's a valve that opens to let the pressure off, and that's like your wastegate. That's like extra pressure, right?
Right.
It's not going into the motor, so
Right.
you don't want to overpressurize the turbo, so it lets off some of the, like, that's most of the lifting noise. When you hear a rally car come around a corner and slow down, you hear all kinds of, depending on the turbo setup, you hear usually like that chatter or that like the kind of flutter noise. But yeah, I don't have to hear.
Valve, right?
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's a wastegate is a blow-off valve. It's the same, just different word.
Except like the race cars they actually have pressure to release, where
Yeah,
the blow-off valve, you're just trying to make that noise, right?
making a cool noise.
Yeah.
No, I mean it's some road.
I mean,
Okay.
there are a bunch. I mean, there's also. Oh, you're gonna play
I think
it,
I've
Maddie?
got it. Okay, hang on, I'm gonna hold it up to That's
Let's
mine.
hear it.
Okay, I'm gonna hold it up to the webcam mic and see if we can get it. Okay. You catch it? That really sharp. That guy. Did it even come through?
Sounds like
Or is the compressor?
sounds
Yeah,
like
it's
a
kind
whale.
of. It's not really. Yeah, it's not really coming through.
It sounds like a whale talk, like whale speak.
It's well
Top tier
song.
content right here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very loud.
You dub it in, Maddie,
I will. It's going
and
in.
we'll all go ooh.
It does sound like a whale type thing, though.
Just like that. Pew! Really loud.
Yeah.
There's also the other funny one is the Acura prototypes actually have that funny kind of off throttle what Marshall Pruitt has described as the Chewbacca sound, where it's like this kind of like like this kind of grrr. Yeah, that's a funny one. And I don't know if that's the same thing. I remember watching a video with David Salter, like talking about it. But I don't remember but I think similar.
Someone needs to make a 12-hour IMSA noise or IMSA
Yeah.
AMR
Peter's
video.
got a good batch.
Just all these noise.
Seriously. Yeah. I did make some recordings. I mean, there used to be. I mean, I have records. You know, I mean, there are those great the Riverside Records.
Sebring.
This record company. Yeah, Sounds of Sebring. I mean, there's a bunch of. I mean, I have that one. I have a few other ones that I've picked up over the years.
Marshall actually has a really good archive of cars that he's mic'd.
Oh yeah, no, I know.
Yeah, I did a post on it on Jalopnik a long time ago, but it's he'll hook up like a really nice mic setup to a race car and get like really good audio, so you can listen to like lap after lap after lap. And it's like people who are good and like who have more driving experience can actually like tell where you are on the track based on what they're
That's
hearing,
so cool.
which is really fun.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
But
sick.
yeah, that's a highly recommend. I'm trying to see where he has it on his site, but it's really, really neat.
He used to just post it to the like his podcast feed, Marshall Pruitt podcast. If you go back far enough, there's a bunch of that stuff. But yeah. Any other, I mean, things to draw, conclusions to draw from the race? I mean, Acura won. The Cadillacs looked good. I mean, the Porsches kind of got BOP'd into non-competitiveness, although Nick Tandy was trying so hard to get something out of that car that he spun it and like destroyed that number 7 car. Yeah. Pretty good.
Aston in the Lambo, great day for just getting out there.
I was just gonna say, yeah, that was kind of like one of the kind of surprises of the race was just seeing how well both of those cars were running. I mean, I think the Lambo end up finishing like 6th or something.
Yeah, it fell back after Grosjean got out.
Anyway, but I mean, that car was actually leading for kind of a long time, and which, you know, I mean, lots of cars will lead a race just in the course of, you know, pit stop rotations and things cycling through or whatever. But he was out front for a long time, and
with no AC and no drink system.
Right. And then the rest of the time, like, was pretty solidly mid-pack. I mean, it was a really respectable showing for that car after, like, I mean, did that even fucking race at Sebring? I don't know if that car actually made it out, and they've pulled out of whack completely. So I mean, that's and they're only doing the Michelin Endurance Cup races in IMSA, so it's just like the 5 races of this season, and so it's like for a program that barely exists at this point, it was nice to see it kind of hold its own, and the Aston again, you know, ended up finishing you know, pretty far down, but for a car with, you know, a development program year, and that car was running very solidly mid-pack for almost the entire race, and you know, and both of those cars finished at Le Mans, right? Too. Yeah. I mean, I mean, everybody's just so thrilled that car exists, you know, just because it's so beautiful. And I mean, that thing, God, the first fucking morning when I walked down there and saw that thing in real life, and it was outside of the scrutineering tent, and it just fucking stopped me in my tracks. And I've been, you know, looking at pictures of that thing for, you know, as long as everybody else has, you know, years at this point. But god damn, seeing that thing in real life, it was just like, holy crap, is that thing gorgeous?
Yeah.
And so, you know, even if it never fucking does anything in a race, you know, who cares? We're all happy just that it's there. But the idea that could actually has the potential to be a, you know, competitive program. I mean, in a couple of years, like, imagine seeing that thing, like, actually, you know, competing for for podiums and stuff. That'll be pretty rad.
Yeah.
Just needs a few more Bob points.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I'm psyched. That was a great. That's you know, R.I.P. to Bamber for the death or glory maneuver. But like a double Taylor Boys car podium, like 10 and 40 on the podium, was a beautiful day for me. I'm very happy. Like I really wanted them to both finish and not crash out before the end of the race or something again. And like they both got on the podium. Let's go. We saw Happy Wayne Taylor before the race. We saw the vision. We got the vibe.
I've seen a lot of Wayne Taylor lately.
Yeah, it was very funny during the grid walk. He Ricky Taylor and Philippe Albuquerque were you know, down in front of their pit box, and some people were giving them stuff to sign, and they're taking pictures with kids and whatever, and somebody gives something to like a shirt or something to Ricky Taylor and said, you know, hey, can you get, you know, your dad to sign this? and so and Wayne is up top. Wayne is in like the
balcony.
they're in those
control.
those booths, where it's like the 2-story race tech booths, and so he's up at top, and so so he comes out and signs this thing and just like hands it down, and he's just all smiles and just kind of like, and he looked like
Princess in the Tower up there.
he looked like the Pope, like on the balcony, just like greeting his congregation and just just clapping and
glowing
just
in his blue glasses.
It was very funny.
Beautiful Princess Wayne Taylor up there in the tower, handing down the T-shirt, Rapunzel, Rapunzel. It was very sweet. Good to see him having a good day.
Well, thank you guys for letting me hijack your.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, it was great. It
super
was great to
fun.
have you aboard.
Yeah. Hey,
Cool.
Fernando, where can people find out about the design work that you do?
Yeah,
little
let's
plug.
get some plugs.
Well, I mean, you could definitely check out Alloy,
Uh-huh.
Alloy Mag on Instagram, and then I do my own just car stuff for fun at heart.wrk. I think that's the
That is
handle.
correct. Yep. And alloy_mag and
Alloymag.com too.
alloymag.com, and there's also fernandopinocreative.com to see what else Fernando is up to. So you've got all kinds of cool places to go and see the very cool artwork that Fernando does, including all the stuff for Alloy. So please sign up. There's an Alloy newsletter now, right, Rory?
Yeah.
Yep.
I think. Yeah.
Oh hell yeah, I got to get on that.
Yeah, everybody in. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alrighty. Stay tired.
We all round it up. Yep.
Stay tired.
fellas. We will reconvene.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's go.
All right.
See you guys.
I'm actually about to be working on a Tesla, so Matthias is
Hell
coming
yeah.
over to have me fix something on his car. so
Don't
that'll be
explode. We love you.
Get more time.
Yeah, make sure the light in the windshield is green.
Yeah, be careful. Don't blow up. Don't get blown up.
All right. We'll see. Maddie, you might get blown up too because he's coming over here. So.
I'm driving. I gotta go. I gotta get out of here. Cats, into the car.
All right. 2 boys.
Later,
See
gators.
you guys.
All right, peace.
Bye.
See you guys. Bye.